As home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on KUAM News Primetime, the Guam Memorial Hospital's COVID care units are set to get some much-needed upgrades. Peter Santos has the very latest. Plus, our Adriana Cotero has more on a class action lawsuit filed on behalf of Guam business owners. And feeling the frustration, some of the island's small businesses speak out. Nestor Lacanto has that report.
Today we begin with the latest numbers. Out of 474 samples ran yesterday, 43 returned positive. Of that number, 31 were identified through contact tracing, 5 were identified in quarantine, 3 cases reported recent travel from the U.S. and 2 cases reported recent travel from the Philippines. To date, there have been a total of 2,190 officially reported cases of COVID-19 with 37 deaths. 646 people are actively fighting the virus, while 1,507 people have recovered from infection. As for the census over at the Guam Memorial Hospital, Administrator Lillian Posada says there are 32 COVID patients hospitalized, with 13 receiving ICU level of care, of which 9 are on ventilators. She adds several patients were discharged, but she cautions that although the hospital's COVID numbers are down, things could still take a turn for the worst. Guam's only public hospital is about to get an upgrade to their COVID care units as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers prepares to start on some desperately needed work. Peter Santos reports.
They're focused to then augment and to enhance the electrical sources for those rooms in the COVID care area.
Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas referring to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers who've been brought in to sort out and upgrade the electrical work at the Guam Memorial Hospital's COVID care unit to accommodate the use of ventilators and dialysis machines, as currently the electrical system is only able to support one at a time.
You can only handle, provide electrical source for a ventilator, and if the individual needs to be on dialysis, we need to move that individual somewhere nearby to get the dialysis treatment. So that was our challenge. With the 3rd floor telemetry unit, that was one of the discoveries, was that we cannot put a patient in there who needs both the ventilator and the hemodialysis. And so this is where, you know, the Army Corps was brought in. There was a request to help us in a very quick manner.
The Army Corps of Engineers will begin work as requested by GMH and the Surgeon Cell through the Office of Civil Defense. Posada said the work to enhance the electrical capabilities of the COVID care units will begin soon.
And right now we cleared out Tier 2 so that we can begin that work to have that electrical source for dialysis.
A report released in April by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers stated that, quote, the current infrastructure of the GMH facility is in an overall state of failure due to age, environmental exposure, lack of financial resources to support pre-planned capital infrastructure replacements, and lack of previous facility design adherence to building codes. Extensive repair and/or replacement of all GMH facility sections are required to ensure renewed compliance with hospital accreditation standards and to protect the life, health, and safety of staff, patients, and visitors. The full interview can be found on our KUAM YouTube page. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
We told you a little bit about it last night, but today KUAM spoke with attorneys Tom Fisher and Rachel Azuzu and local business owner Tom Pinehoff, who are taking both the governor and the Department of Public Health director to federal court. As reported, a class action complaint was filed on behalf of Guam business owners. Adriana Cotero has more.
It's been 196 days, 196 days, Chris, without a penny and without any help.
Feeling neglected, local business owner of Live House and Shady Lady, Tom Pinehoff, has had enough.
We are suffering, we're hurting, and we have been peacefully protesting out there early on. We put our chairs out street side to show that we are here. You know, please don't forget about us.
Due to the governor's executive order invoking a lockdown, Pinehoff was forced to close his business's doors for months on end, taking a financial loss. and ensuring himself and other business owners are not forgotten. Pinehoff has filed a class action lawsuit against Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and DPHSS Director Art San Agustin in the District Court of Guam through legal counsels Tom Fisher and Rachel Zuzu.
You know, all these business owners, this array that we see before us, they have lost a tremendous amount of money. It was taken from them, and they are continuing to lose the money. We want them to be compensated. We want the businesses to be allowed to open up.
According to the complaint, enacting the shutdown order is in violation of Pinehoff's rights, with plaintiffs arguing there is no basis for allowing certain businesses deemed essential to operate, while prohibiting others, explains plaintiff attorneys Fisher and Zuzu.
These people are as capable of enforcing public health standards for safety and precaution as anyone else.
The government has made it very clear in the last 6 months, almost daily, that it has invoked its superpowers under this state of emergency. But to what extent can we allow them to continue to exercise these powers without regard to due process for small businesses?
Pinehoff is asking the court to declare the governor's shutdown orders are unconstitutional, as well as compensation for losses. As we reported directly after filing the complaint, Adelup commented, stating, quote, "Under the laws of Guam and the Organic Act, the governor has the legal authority and moral obligation to save lives and prevent the outright collapse of our healthcare system. We are focused on that effort and remain confident that the courts will acknowledge these facts. We will reopen as soon as it is reasonable to do so. But that decision will be based on data that demonstrates that community spread can be contained and that our hospitals have the capacity to treat those who need it. Until then, no one's life or livelihood will be safe," unquote.
My reaction to that is, you know, I like this phrase reasonable. When is the governor going to determine that it's reasonable to reopen? This week, next month, sometime after the election? Bottom line, the governor doesn't have the authority to contravene the Constitution of the United States and the Organic Act. We don't think the federal court is going to stand for it.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Frustration, uncertainty, and even anger. That's what many local small business owners are feeling right now. Several of them appeared today on the link to air their concerns to the public in general and the governor in particular.
Basically, it's all about complying to survive right now.
Purebred Jiu-Jitsu studio owner Steve Roberto says small businesses are doing their part, but what about the government?
We've done everything that has been asked of us, most especially in the case of my business. Public health did not have any type of guidance in regards to opening up jiu-jitsu academies, and I formulated the guidance to help them. I didn't even get a response back.
There's also a sense that the administration is focused too much on the health crisis and not enough on the economic one. Buckeye Sports brand founder Roman De La Cruz.
There has to be a sense of urgency right now because with all this federal assistance that we've been able to lean on as U.S. citizens, it's been great. But because of all this forced closure, and I think you guys have dialed in on this right now, because of this forced closure, the forced long-time closure of all these businesses, all this stimulation or whatever, all these monies are leaving island, and that's further weakening our economy.
Boca Box restaurant owner Jesse Rosario says businesses have no choice but to adapt until they're allowed to fully reopen.
And I know not everyone is going to like the decisions that's being made, but you know, like Roman, I believe that the governor and her people have Guam in their hearts and they have us in their best interest. But you know, it's hard. It's going to be hard for all of us.
But for some like Roberto, who operates a gym, it might be harder. He will likely be among the last to reopen, even though for 90 days during the return to P-Core 3, he says, not a single one of his students got infected.
I don't think COVID is the end all of public health. I think mental health and spiritual health is just as important.
There are indications that the governor may ease restrictions on other non-essential businesses as early as this weekend. Roberto says he'd like to know just exactly what the governor's plan is.
I want to hear it from the boss's mouth rather than to hear it on my social media or my chats. I think that would help tremendously.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Following prime time, make sure to check out Nestor's show In Full Zoom to hear more perspective from the island's business community on how they're surviving and diversifying their business models during these times. In Superior Court, more petitioners are coming forward challenging the 14-day mandatory quarantine in a GovGuam facility, including MMA fighter Trevin Jones. The cases were heard this afternoon in Judge Elise Iriarte's courtroom. Jones, along with numerous others, argued this government requirements is in violation of civil rights. Jones was returning on island after representing Guam in the UFC, a fight he won. He testified since he's been in quarantine for over a week, he suffers post-fight body pains. Jones says he asked public health for medical assistance and further inquired on release to home quarantine and never received a response or help from public health. He told the court, quote, "I feel they are not taking this serious." The government continues to argue the quarantine is valid to eliminate the transmission of COVID-19 and says Jones' case is unique as he subjected himself to voluntary quarantine for the UFC in Las Vegas. However, it was stated by Jones' attorney Jackie Terlahi her client submitted a medical hardship form prior to returning on Guam, and it was disregarded. The court heard closing arguments and plans to enter a decision on the record tomorrow. The remaining hearings are ongoing. The decision is ultimately up to the governor, but the Physicians Advisory Group in their meeting last night discussed two issues they're hoping will be implemented by the end of the week. PAG member Dr. Ho Win says he's optimistic the governor will give the green light to the early test out program for home quarantine.
Things need to get ready at the Q factor, but we like to implement, at testing at day 6 and let people go home at day 7 on home quarantine.
According to Wynn, the PAG also discussed the possibility of more businesses reopening.
We're going to try to discuss with the governor this morning to see if we can reopen some business based on the data that we have in the last PCOR 2 and 3. That some business that does not have any positive, that is like a cluster. I mean, you have 1 or 2 from the employee is not considered as an infection in that business. So we look at those and we try to decide the best that we can on which business that we can open safely.
Dr. Wynn says the PAG is hoping the governor will be making an announcement on both issues in the next couple of days. We should add there's no word just yet on whether the governor will be extending the PCOR 1 and stay-at-home order, which is set to expire this Friday. Stay tuned, more news after the break.
While we've all been through a lot over the years, typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years, Travel's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
As a kid, your dad always taught you new things. As an adult, he probably still does. Pedro just got his very first paycheck from his very first job. The only trouble is, he's not sure exactly how to deposit his check into his account. But Dad, as usual, knows exactly what to do. Using a Bank of Guam tutorial, Dad teaches Pedro how to access his money without ever stepping foot in the bank. There are many ways we can show our love, and teaching is one. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Our new McDonald's Spicy Chicken McNuggets are just the right amount of spicy. A small to medium Sprite kind of spicy. Let's get a McFlurry after this kind of spicy. But if you get the mighty hot sauce, it's a napkins up for foreheads now kind of spicy. This came from McDonald's kind of spicy? Because our Spicy Chicken McNuggets, breaded in tempura and made with cayenne, are just the right amount of spicy. Unless you remember what I said about the sauce. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Small businesses are an important foundation in our island's growing economy. They provide essential goods and services to our community, while preserving local traditions and creating new job opportunities. Your responses to the 2020 Census of Guam will help small businesses receive the information they need to thrive for years to come. Respond today. Together, we can make a difference.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Well, welcome back. The Federal Election Commission wants to know more about a $9,000 campaign donation Congressman Michael San Nicolas returned to a donor. The FEC, in a September 13th letter to the congressman, said if he doesn't, quote, adequately respond to the letter, his campaign could face audit or enforcement action. As reported, former San Nicolas Chief of Staff John Paul Manuel alleged San Nicolas received an over-the-limit $10,000 donation from local businessman Andy Park. The individual limit for congressional donors is $2,800 per election. While San Nicolas didn't respond to the allegation, his campaign finance files show he returned a $9,000 donation to Park in February. Congressman San Nicolas, however, never disclosed the donation to federal election officials in his campaign filings. Quote, "It appears that this contribution was not previously reported by your committee. Please amend the appropriate reports to disclose the original contribution or provide clarifying information." The individual limit for donors is $2,800 per election. San Nicolas did not return a request for a comment to KUAM. The general manager of the Guam Solid Waste Authority is stepping down. Larry Gast has advised the GSWA board of his plans to retire. Board chairperson Andrew Gale confirms that Gast had submitted his resignation, but they are encouraging him to stay on until they can find a replacement. Gale says the board's regular monthly meeting is tomorrow when they will discuss Gast's retirement. He says they will also get an update on GSWA's financial situation. Revenues have dropped as many businesses have reduced operations or shut down due to the pandemic. The Department of Defense announcing the award of 16 grants totaling approximately $50 million under the Defense Community Infrastructure Pilot Program by the Office of Economic Adjustment. According to a media release, $3.5 million is being awarded to the municipality of Orat Chalanpago to undertake a $6.5 million project to construct a multi-purpose recreation and emergency center to support military families on Guam. Meanwhile, $335,000 is going to the Tinian Commonwealth Bureau of Military Affairs to enhance utility infrastructure in support of life, health, and safety for service members rotating on and off the island from Joint Region Marianas. In Superior Court, Judge Anita Sokola's courtroom, drug defendant Vicky Lynn Terragezu will enter a plea deal virtually from Saipan next month. Terragezu is released to the U.S. Probation Office in the CNMI. As reported, she was named as a prior girlfriend of former Jotnia Mayor Jesse Bloss in his federal case. In Bloss's case, Terragezu went into cooperation with the feds. It was stated she resides in Saipan for protection purposes. Bloss has since pled guilty to extortion charges. Judge Sokola scheduled a return for October 19th. Stay tuned, more news right here on Primetime.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
That's when Lil Mama came to still in lust. Whoa, she off the rate scale, she had me shut. Yeah, but if you single tonight and can't find your friends, then I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you wanna dance to the music? Do you wanna rock to the beat of the drum? And we could cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Baby, we should cut her up.
Nachos come with rules, like don't take the fully loaded chips, don't hog the guac, and never take the last one. But with the Grande Nachos box from Taco Bell, you can break all the rules, because this meal's all yours.
Welcome back. With the holiday season ahead, the Salvation Army is starting to enlist the community for support. Tyler Mazzanani has a story.
Across the globe, the COVID pandemic has left people struggling to make ends meet. One organization that always steps up to help is the Salvation Army. On Guam, the nonprofit organization is working harder than ever to provide meals and gifts to families as we near the holiday season.
We want to make sure that at least 400 families throughout the community of Guam receive a proper Christmas dinner as well as toys for all their children that are 17 and under.
The local Salvation Army is looking for corporate kettle ringers. The money from the Red Kettle is used for their year-round food pantry and other services. Donors for corporate Angel Tree for Toys for Tots are also needed. Salvation Army Captain Eric Rudd says they understand the difficulty of purchasing toys with malls and shopping outlets closed, but giving to those in need isn't going to stop them.
It's incredible to see people that normally have never asked for help before. And now because layoffs or reduced hours or, being furloughed, it's a devastating time right now. And people continue to have that same need for food. And for kids, as a parent, you never want your kids to go without. So if we have that opportunity to kind of stand in the gap there and help people, we just live for that.
With Thanksgiving just weeks away, typically meals would be provided through hotels, restaurants, and grocery stores. But the Salvation Army recognizes many businesses have been hit hard by the pandemic. The organization is seeking donors for food and in-kind donations for their community Thanksgiving meal that will be operated through the village mayor's offices. Rudd expressed the need doesn't go away, and they will do everything in their power to help people in need. They are now taking applications for Christmas food and toy distribution. You can visit their Facebook page for all dates and application dates. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Mazzanani.
Thanks, Ty. Your birthday shout-outs are next.
When I need to pay my Docomo Pacific bills or manage my account, all I do is visit mydocomopacific.com. It's easy to set up. I just visit the website and click on the link to set up my account. I filled out the registration page starting with my account number. I received a text message with a temporary username and password. After making initial changes on my security settings, I'm in! Now I can make payments or manage my Docomo Pacific account without needing to leave home. With Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up the news, here is your birthday shout-outs with Jason Salas.
Happy birthday on the September 23rd to Mila Rose Cruz Medler. Happy birthday number 5, Mila Rose. Love your adoring family. Also, J. Ryan Macias. Happy birthday number 12. Your family is sending all of their love. To our grandson, Jaden Mendiola Castro, we may have silver in our hair, but you are the gold in our hearts. Happy birthday, and we love you always, from Papa Ed and Mama May. Doreen Camacho Garcia, happiest birthday wishes to Doreen. We hope you enjoy your special day. Love the familia and the 7 dwarfs. Good job. Kia Ray Bernardo Cruz celebrates birthday number 3, and happy birthday to you. You've grown to be an amazing and smart little girl. Keep up with the smartness that you have and always stay safe. Love always, Grandma Vicky and the family. Happiest of birthday wishes to Linda Baza Pangilinan, to the greatest mama and ama, and many, many more birthdays to come. We love you so much, from your husband Jeff, your amazing kids, BJ, Jevi, Jeremy, Junior, and Kimmy, and the grandkiddies, Zamani, Zairi, and Fatso Zion. They actually wrote that. Good job. Ira Shane, happy birthday number 22 on this September 23rd. We love you. Say Dad, Joan, Nana, Papa, and your siblings. Marlon Gumabon, happy birthday Mar, from Julie Marie and your family. Terry Tovas has a birthday today, and happy blessed birthday, Terry. May God continue to bless you today and always, with love from your familia, near and far. That's all over the world. And happy birthday number 4 to Ronan Jude Tapau. Love, Mums, Dad, Pristine, and Atreo. Happy birthday, Rona, from all of us here at KUAM. And happy belated birthday wishes, because we have to say happy birthday to Jonte Fatal, who was born on the 22nd. Happy birthday number 9 from the whole family. We love you, and they say they're all proud of you. Joseph Sablan from the Toting Macshot, wishing you a happy blessed birthday, bro, coming from the whole clan. Stay safe and enjoy your day. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, born on September the 20th, Patreon John Nauta Sablan. Happy 27th V-Day. Love your familia. They say, be safe and be cool.
You can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by checking out KUAM.com. And a quick programming note on both TV8 and TV